All right, are we live? We are live. What's up, you guys? What's up, William? What's up, Charles? Oh, I was just looking and you can't see this because I'm in the way. Boop. I'll move myself. Surprised Planet 13 had a nice spike up after hours with no news. That was pretty sweet. So we need to talk about some Alibaba. Oh, yep, Mike's good. Cool. But before I get started into any questions, I just want to kind of just talk about what I was thinking about over the last few days and just like trading plans and things, and kind of when you get into trading. And there's like all these rules. Here's your 5 rules for investing, option trading, and all that stuff. And you can kind of find the same videos over and over again, where everybody's basically saying, make sure you're sizing correctly, make sure you're sizing for your risk tolerance, own stuff that you want to, and everybody's always talking about having a trading plan. But I don't think you can have a trading plan before you've been trading for a while and before you've lost some decent money. This says no data. Oh, maybe that's an old one. Anyways, yeah, before you've lost money, and maybe even made money and then lost some back, I don't really think you can have a plan, because you don't know. You think you know what your risk tolerance is in the beginning, but like it's easy to see, like when you were looking at, even if I like pop into how we've been, right? Like just over the past 3 months, and in hindsight, like when we're chilling up here, everything looks really good, but without going through some days where you're up, let's see, from 186 2 days later down to 158, to lose $30,000 in a couple days. Like looking at this chart, you'd think you'd be fine with it because we're already over here. But like if you had started up at 180 and then 2 days later, with whatever positions you have, you're down 20-30 grand, you don't know how you're going to react to that. So I don't even think you can know what your risk tolerance is right off the bat at all. I think that's one difficult thing. I think that's one difficult thing to have right off the bat. And then just like expectations, right? Like my account's done pretty well over the past year, and pretty steady over the last 3 months, 6 months, something like that. But the other part of that I was thinking about is just kind of like learning curve, where people are like, hey, I can play this strategy, I don't exactly get this one. I'm pretty fortunate in the fact that like numbers come pretty easy to me. And just to put it all in perspective, like I started with options, it's been basically 2 years now. But numbers come super easy to me. As far as like mathematics and analytical thinking, that stuff, that's where I personally excel. I'm like, as a kid, tested genius level there, so that stuff is very easy. Where I was speaking to somebody on the phone, Scott, it's like, and he said, it sounds like you've been doing this for 20 years, which definitely is not the case, but all this stuff just is very simple to me, and I don't know if that's average. Whereas at that same point where I was good at the math and this stuff is all easy, language, I was like in extra super help how to read classes when I was a kid. Like now all that's fine, and I think I just had very little interest in it. But hopefully people aren't starting out with an expectation of wrapping your mind around it within months, days, weeks, I think even a year. I've talked to a couple people that have been trading like a year, and they're still grasping a lot of things. But man, that's it. Just a couple things I was thinking about. But thoughts on BABA stock this week. BABA stock is, to me, a little like crypto, and not like it doesn't have any intrinsic value. Just, I think it's going to take people jumping into it and basically almost kind of getting some FOMO, because the actual company right now, as far as their free cash flow, I mean, the company's, this is probably legit worth $300 a share. But when we take into account all the risks of it being a Chinese stock, could potentially be delisted, more regulations, just China basically clapping their own businesses right now. That's the fear. So it's just fear. But I think as soon as I like 160 may be a level, but that's why you see those huge spikes up. It's like, okay, everybody's actually going to start giving up money and buying back in. I think there will be some FOMO. So when it runs up, I think it'll run up. I don't think, unless something major happens with China, I don't think we're going to see, I don't think it's going to be devalued. And the longer we go without any issues, the more it's going to climb. That's the only thing holding that stock back. It's a good company. It's very diversified, has good management, has great cash flow. It's worth about double what it is. If this was a U.S. company based in the U.S. or probably anywhere else but China, if it was based in South Africa or I don't know, Israel or somewhere else besides China, this would be a $300 stock, at least $250. So there's definitely huge potential there, but we keep seeing things coming out from China, like they're just like regulating some things into the ground, and I could imagine consumerism is going to be one of those things. So that's just where the risk is. So at half price to value, like half, I don't know. It's a tough one to hold. And then really, if it actually goes up to its correct value based on cash flow, you're only doubling your money, and that's with holding on to something that's very risky. If you don't know, when you're buying BABA, like through any exchange, you're not actually owning the stock. It's basically you're buying into a holding company, because they can't list directly on our stock exchange. The first time I invested through a September before, didn't realize it's usually a bloody month. Yeah, I mean, and we've gone through some things like, part of my huge upside in the beginning was the fact we were going through a pandemic. I mean, that's been amazing. I mean, I'm sure we'll see it again in some years to come, but we're not going to see that all the time. That's another thing, like with my account, since I did kind of start when we had that huge dip, made money on the way down, and then was able to grab things for the way up. That's a once in a, who knows, hopefully decade chance. We're not always going to go through that for sure, but it's not something that's going to happen all the time. And yeah, September, well, not only September, but just the quad witching thing. That's just, a lot of things expire. You have all your quarterlies on stocks, futures, commodities, everything all expiring at one time. So it's a lot of, it's basically like, having a bill or a tab, and everybody has to settle up. So we have that. I mean, and then there's that saying, like, sell in May and go away. Like, just be done, because yeah, it is kind of cyclic. But this week is now over. That's done. Hopefully we can move on. I think Monday. I don't know what we'll see next, or like Monday. I think it's really easy for me to say either it's going to go up or down, but either one, we're going to get a bounce back from just the unnecessary drop that we've had. We also have Jerome Powell. That's kind of an up in the air thing. Like, see if he's going to stay on board. He's been very calming for the economy. All of his speeches have been very positive for us. and we don't know whether or not he's going to stay aboard as the Fed chair. So that's kind of an unknown thing next week. So so kind of based on that, and Jerome can, I mean, like 100%. It used to be like during the pandemic when he would speak, we'd have Jerome puts, but lately, if you see anytime he speaks now, it's usually very positive for the whole market. So hopefully we see that again. But there's also the possibility of a continuation when people see a few days of drop, especially like when they're not on top of their things, or like a big drop. It could take till the following day to where portfolio managers and things like actually make the changes. But just as an overall trend, like looking at the year, even when we have these downtimes, it's not very long before we start to come up again. So I don't think it'll last forever. I think Monday could be another pretty volatile day, but I don't think we're going to see like another week of down a red. Yeah, September, I think, let's see, where were we at? So October, it was like October before that huge dip, at least in the SPY. Good Lord, there's still that dip, and there's an August. Oh yeah, well that was still October. Yeah, September we had a down. Looks like we kind of had a dip, and then it recovered, and then again in October. But still, like on the larger scale of things, they don't last forever. I guess going back a couple years, yeah, there's still a dip there. But it's so impossible to time the market too. Like, just depending on what your goals are, like dollar cost averaging is always just the best. If you're up, down, sideways purchasing things, it's the best. We'll have these dips, but we can never time them. We just know, like, the only kind of real known thing was this Friday with the quad witching thing. Like, we knew that was coming up. We expected red. That's what happens. Volatility was up, and I've been playing the SPX, like 0 DTs, 1 day till expiration, things like that, but I just, not this week. Totally stuck out of it. And we actually had a pretty good week, so that was pretty cool. And now I decided, I was like, in my Robinhood, I'll start grabbing a very little crypto in it. And there wasn't like one that I want to purchase a whole bunch of at one time, and I do hold it outside of this. I've been mining for years now, since the previous big craze, not just like this year, but many years ago. But in the account, I'm going to start setting aside a whole $9 a day every day. So I started that yesterday. I'll buy some Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Dogecoin daily, a whole $3 a piece. So we grabbed, there we go. Wait. No, that's the last price. No. The only thing I hate about Robinhood, when you have the crypto, then it shows like all week, you have that little line going. No. Where is it? Your equity. Looks like we are even on our Bitcoin and down on our Doge and Ethereum. But I'll just put $3 whole every single day in there. And that'll get me like, I don't know, 3,500 or something by the end of the year. But I have no idea what it's going to do. Nobody does. Unless you guys do, let me know, please. Then I can just trade accordingly. Oh, and then I wanted to go through real quick, unless you guys have any specific questions or anything you guys want to talk about. Did 2.5 this week. Off put and call credit spreads, nice. I'm not sure where the SPY is going to this week, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think anybody knows. I mean, as soon as you get the crystal ball, let me know. If I get a crystal ball, I'll let you know. Like, I have a good feeling about where we'll be 3 months from now, 6 months from now, but next week, who knows? But I was talking to somebody just kind of back and forth who wanted to see kind of what I'm holding essentially, and just see like what my overall account looks like. And I think this is big enough to see. I guess we can make it bigger. Oh wait, maybe we'll zoom in. There we go. So mostly just a whole bunch of put credit spreads. This doesn't, am I too zoomed in to see the number? Oh no, there we are. 12. Mostly a bunch of put credit spreads on Tesla. That is pretty much the majority of how I grow my account pretty steadily. And then I have a few debit spreads. I actually have, well, just like one, 2023. I have a couple of those. And then my stock holdings, which we can go through real quick. Tesla, one of my main holdings. Coca-Cola is basically some of these are just like, I hold most of these for different reasons. So Tesla and Palantir. Oh, we can't move it on this one? Oh, thought we could rearrange it, maybe only on the mobile app. Tesla and Palantir are the only two I'm really invested in for like good growth, more speculative than anything. I see those being very, very high value, over doubling what they currently are. Those, let's see. And then I hold a few just as kind of a piggy bank, which is better to me than just having it in cash. A lot of them have dividends, or they're just good names to hold, not expecting big growth on them or anything. And those would be Coca-Cola, QYLD, JEPI, and then we have a little bit of SPY, Qs, and Apple, which I'm going to build a position on. And my plan for Apple will be for every percent drop I see now until I have 100 shares, I will buy a share. So if it's down 1%, I'll buy a share. If it's down 2% or another percent on that day, I'll just buy another share, and I'll just dollar cost average on Apple. And then the last kind of category of things that I own are things that I picked up during the pandemic drop that I wouldn't have necessarily bought like now. I don't particularly love the companies, but they had great balance sheets. I knew they would come back. I didn't know when or by how much. And that would be Tapestry, which has now a great dividend. Gap, I bought that at a good deal. Plus, Kanye West is part of their board now. He took stock in exchange for, or let's see, what do you do? He got paid in stock, and he's part of their board, but he's also doing like some collaboration stuff. So he's coming out with gear there, which I think could be huge. If you kind of look at what he did for some other shoe manufacturers, MGM bought that during the dip. Cedar Fair bought that during the dip, which is basically, this is my only REIT, but this is on amusement parks. Clearway Energy, basically a clean energy company. Hawaiian Airlines, basically. Hopefully you know what Hawaiian Airlines is. It's an airline, which was cheap at the time. And Robinhood, just because I use Robinhood every single day, I don't mind owning that. That will be just a long-term holding. I guess that's somewhat kind of in the growth category. And Nintendo, I own for completely different reasons. Somebody picked that. I let them pick that. So I own just a few shares, and I'm just going to hold on to that. All right. We closed below the 50 EMA. I did see that. Do I trade weeklies? Sometimes, but not very often. I used to do it a lot more. If I am trading weeklies, I will trade them based on news or an event that I think is going to happen. I'll usually, like if news comes out, I'll scalp a call or scalp a put pretty much. That's the majority of the weekly selling or weeklies that I do. Other than that, I try to stay at least a few weeks out. And when I open up new positions, ideally I do them 4 to 6 weeks out, which gives me time to manage the positions. Tesla and Amazon puts have been money this year, 100%. The only thing that sucked about I did lose on a couple Amazons when it was like below 30. I can't remember, 3,400 or something like that. And then of course, like as soon as I lost on that, when it spiked back up, I should have rolled it and just paid for it. But even though I know Amazon, like who doesn't know Amazon and who doesn't use Amazon? I don't know that I don't follow them close enough to know what brought them down and what brought them back up. Are you picking up more BABA this week? I don't own any BABA, and I'm not playing BABA. I'm out. I'm out of Chinese companies. The most Chinese company I will own is Tesla, just because they manufacture there. I don't like. There's not enough upside on it. Like if I want to find something that has 50% upside for next year, I'll buy more Tesla, which I have very high confidence in. And with Alibaba, it's that same maximum 50. It's like it literally is maximum 50% about that for the next year, and that's if fear goes away and the Chinese don't regulate it into the ground or hurt it someplace. So the risk to reward there, it's just not there at all. I do own some JD in the long term though, but I picked that up a long time ago. It's super cheap. Chinese companies are so sketchy. Beware, 100%. I mean, not only can their companies be sketchy, their government's sketchy. The tension between U.S. and China is definitely sketchy. It's not worth it. I mean, if you want to do some risky stuff, like I would rather buy, like, I don't know, some Bitcoin on a dip or something like that. There's so many other choices. There's so many other choices than Alibaba. I wish it wasn't the case, because for a while there, before the tensions came out, I was like, if it's below 200, I'm grabbing leaps on it. Kept saying it. And then the reason for the dip was so bad that I'm done. I'm out of it. How much collateral do you usually put in your credit spreads? Well, on my Teslas, they're usually $500 a piece. So that's in general. It just depends also what the strikes available are. So like what on Google, can't remember, this is like a 5, so that's a $500. Yeah, $500 there, but usually $500. Yeah, I think. Oh, my Iron Condors, I think those are 1,000. Roku, 500. So usually $500 collateral for each one, and you can see I have multiple different amounts of them. So 5, 4, 12. And what I was doing, the reason why I ended up with some of these, so you guys know I wanted to like hold some cash, and as the week went on, I was going to open up some more put credit spread, just because I have no idea what this week was going to hold. So anytime, basically throughout the day, when I popped something open and I was down on any of my positions, I just opened up another one. That's all I did. It looks like this one this one, because I just rolled it on Friday. This one I'm down on. So maybe tomorrow, or Monday, excuse me, I'll stick some more in here. It's funny. Why is this all the ones I'm positive on are red and the one I'm negative on is green? That's weird. Huh. So negative is green, huh? Or what? What setting is this on? Total return. How's our Palantirs too? So 9, we're down $144 on our Palantir calls, which is cool because those are ones we sold, and I don't think I'm glad to see Palantir had a nice Nice pullback. What do you guys think about SoFi? Why so much hype? I think SoFi is definitely like gonna be hype because it's kind of like that's the theoretical next move, or like what banks are going to they're going to take business away from banks essentially. I think all the like anything like DeFi is going to continue to get hypes, just kind of like at the end of last year where every single EV company, didn't matter if it was garbage, if it was QuantumScape or Nikola, like all those just got super pumped and then dumped. I think, but SoFi is actually pretty legit though. I wonder if I own SoFi in my long term. I'm gonna move myself back out of the way into the news. How is SoFi doing anyways? I think I may have some in my long term, but if it is, it's not much. Oh, dang. I dropped. Let's see. I have about 10K. In my account, and I'm thinking about doing SPY spreads 3 times a week, around 93% chance. Do you recommend it? I recommend trying things. Like, use some of it. See, like, don't go all in. Use some of your account, see how it goes, see how you like it, see how it feels. See how it feels when you have $1,000 on the line and you're down $900, because it will happen at some point. 93, so like 2 standard deviations. I mean, that's pretty safe. I like them, but every single strategy is different. And with those, the other part of the SPY spreads, I kind of assume you're talking about doing iron condors on it, because you kind of might as well, since you're not really you can't really predict the direction on it. But with those, like they can go right, and you can build up quite a bit. But you also have to be able to monitor it. That's what I was thinking. You have to be able to monitor it during the day. If you don't have time, then I would not recommend doing it. And when you're saying like 3 times a week, I kind of also think you're talking about doing like 0 DTEs 3 times a week. I would try it out. Try them all out. Try out tons and tons of strategies until you figure out what you like, what you're comfortable with. I think they're fun. They're fun to see, like the P&L, because it happens so fast. That part is fine. They're high, like 93%. That's high probability that you'll win. So you'll win a lot. And then the big thing is making sure you're going to manage your losers. That's the big part of it. But if you're not able to sit in front of a computer all day or monitor your account, you're not going to be able to make sure that you close it when you should stop out. The one biggest thing is just make sure absolutely 100% whatever plan you put into place, like stick with it. Just stick with it. And expect some losing days too. Like just take the loss, move on. That's the biggest mistake I've seen, as far as like when people talk about doing that for a long period of time, like, weeks, not weeks, but months, years, things like that. How about Robinhood this week? Like Robinhood, the stock coming up. Again, no idea what to expect. I did like the when they were talking about it in Congress. I don't know if you caught it. I want to find it and actually kind of comment on it if I have some extra time. I thought it was super interesting. People are talking about, the potential of the SEC regulating selling, not be able to put orders for sale. And then somebody like just totally spoke up, and I don't even know who it was because I was just listening to it. And he's like, man, like now that you don't have to pay $20 or $30 a trade, it is so accessible. And who gives a crap if you get like for us selling options, if we get $34 or $33 because they sold it, like who gives a crap? We didn't have to pay 20 or 30 bucks commission for every single one. And with Robinhood, the stock, I don't really care. I use it every single day. I think there's plenty of people in here that use it all day or like every day. I think more people are going to use it. There's not a platform that is easy to get started on and is user friendly. So I think it's going to be here for a while. I think the only one that might compete is Tastyworks. I know they keep saying they're going to revise, and maybe it will get easier, but they still have commissions. Robinhood's the only thing that you can start with $20, $30, and it be relatively simple to trade. So I'm good with them long term, and they're making like money hand over fist, especially like with the crypto space. Like that's just making it bigger. They need more money. What do they need to do? Just add Shiba Inu on there or something, or whatever ridiculous altcoins, and let people trade that all day and take a little bit of that trade flow on there. Do you recommend doing 100 spreads at a time? Because I do it at least 5 times a week on the SPY. I don't recommend any specific plays, man. But that's super awesome. Do you just go for like a few dollars? I recommend trying anything and everything, finding what you like, and doing that. Figure out what works for you and works for your risk tolerance. Let's see. Because the price of the call goes up, your sold call goes down. Yeah. Oh, you're saying like with the red and the green? It's just weird on my phone. It shows like just my positions that I'm up on. It just shows as green. The ones I'm down on, I think it shows it as red. And the only time I ever show the desktop is when I'm here. I can't say never. I've traded on it before. But let me see. What? Now it's just all weird. Oh, total return. Yeah, on my mobile, like they're all just like, can we stick on there? Is it gonna focus? Maybe not. Anyways, all the ones that I'm up on, they're all red, or they're all green. How much better are put credit spreads versus call debit spreads? If they're actually at the exact same strikes, they're not. They should be almost identical. So if you use like Option Strat or something like that, you can look at those two, and really the risk loss should be almost exactly the same. As far as like the ones that I play. Because you're basically trying to achieve the exact same thing. You can get a little bit better deal on one. Like if you're really trying to pinch pennies and worry about it, you could run both the scenarios and maybe you could save a couple dollars one way or the other. And also depends where volatility is too. Don't know which way we headed. Yeah, me neither. My crystal ball is just totally out of order. I bought both calls and puts. I'll see when the direction is finally standing. Like on the SPY, I think a straddle, like this week, a straddle would be money. And I know I said that like at the beginning of the week. I think a straddle would be awesome. If you would open it up at the end of the day for the next day, a straddle on the SPX, I think you'd be good to go. My loss came from stop losses that were far from the price, but somehow managed to get hit. I don't understand that. Knocked me straight out of ARC. Let's see, my loss came from stop losses that were so far. I wonder, I don't know. My loss came from stop losses. I don't know, like what the play was. Like you actually just had like stop losses on this on the ETF itself. Because I know most of the time you can only put an actual stop loss on a single, like on on either a stock or a single leg of an option. Like, you usually cannot put a stop loss on, at least the brokerages that I'm familiar with, you can't put it on like a vertical or anything. New sub, what's up, Scriptwriter 11? Thanks for showing up. That just caught my sale. Sarah Silverman is my muse. I love it. What are your thoughts about Forex? I don't know enough about it, but I've actually been talking to somebody that got started, like, I don't remember how many years, 15 or 20 years of Forex trading, and we're gonna get together and do a couple videos on it. He did Forex for years and years and years, and now really just he does the wheel pretty much exclusively. So I'm excited to do that, but I want to pick his brain about Forex too. I think kind of Forex is like one of those things where it's just like all the different strategies, all the different stocks, all the different like crypto stocks, Forex. If you spend enough time and you're willing to be patient with it, you're willing to lose some money for a little while, you can be very profitable at it. And you need to know what to pay attention to. With Forex, I wouldn't know what to pay attention to. Either that, or you sit and you learn the technicals, and until they literally, like, my thought is always they have to speak to you. It's like somebody who doesn't know how to read music and looking at sheet music compared to somebody who does. They can look at sheet music and they can hear a song in their head. And I think that's where you really have to get to be able to trade technicals. But I think that'd be super cool. Like, if that's something you're interested in, take the time, do it, learn it. Love the stream, chilling at the park. Nice. No chilling at the park in Washington. We have like just a ton. We've had like a ton of wind and rain and stuff. But thanks, man. Appreciate it. I always downloaded that PDF on Robinhood in case something electronic happens. What is that? What PDF? I don't know about it. Sir, I see poop. That's true. Best user-friendly broker. I use Robinhood as my main and Thinkorswim for my charts. Yeah, I mean, just kind of like me. I totally use Thinkorswim for my charts, technicals. I use Tastyworks. I originally used Tastyworks because I liked, before I understood the Greeks, I wanted to see them plotted out so I could understand it a little bit better, or a profit, kind of that profit through time, which now I would recommend looking at like options strat or options profit calculator instead of anything else for that. Just the P&L graph, I think it's better, it's cleaner. Something mess up here. Just bump the mic a little bit. But yeah, there's nothing else that I can be driving down the road on autopilot, of course, and make a trade like in a few seconds after I hear some news. Nothing else is as fast, and I have TD on my phone. I have Ameritrade on my phone, M1, which doesn't really matter because you can only trade a couple times a day on that. Both of those, the Ameritrade and Tastyworks mobile, they are like 10x complicated, 10x compared to Robinhood. TradingView is the best. Man, I keep hearing this. I keep hearing it. I may need to open up an account there. So is TradeView? Is it like no commission, or how are they set up? I don't know. I actually don't know anything about it, except for I always like when somebody sends me a screenshot of TradingView. I always ask them what it is. What do you think of Alibaba on leaps? If you're down, what percentage loss would you recommend to exit? Also, on your credit spreads, what things you look at to open your position? So if you opened, okay, if you're down, if I bought leaps, they are for the long term. So if it was me buying them and had good faith in them, I would hold on to them. I had Snapchat leaps that I was down, I don't know, most of it on it until it took that nice leg up. I've been holding Apple leaps, And even my Palantir ones, like anything that I have leaps on, that's for a good reason. I want months, I want a year worth of time. I don't really care what happens in the interim. It's like going back and looking at this SPY chart, like knowing, like if I know the stock is going to be somewhere up here, or that's my thesis, that is my whatever feeling, that's what my psychic said, whatever. I don't know what's going to happen in between, but if this is where I think it's going to end up, I would just hold it. And for a leaps position, because you can, in the meantime, you can also sell calls against it. Like you can run it as a poor man's covered call. You can recover some of those losses all along the way while you're waiting for it to come back up too. So it's not like you're just sitting there with garbage. I have the same thing on DraftKings. That I was down, $1,700 on or something, just one of those for a period of time. But DraftKings isn't doing too bad anymore. It's a $50 call. I've been holding that already for 9 months or something like that. But we can also continually sell calls on them. Let's see, also on my credit spreads, what things do I look to open your position? I look for a good amount of premium to collateral ratio. I like 20%. I also look at recent price action, kind of what I think is going to happen. If there's been a recent dip, I will get closer to the money and collect a good amount of premium. If it's been up for a while and I think it's kind of like artificially inflated, like I expect a pullback, I'll go farther out of the money, and knowing that I can roll it up for some additional premium at some point, but also still being safe at the same time. So I don't have an ABC 1, 2, 3 rule of thumb for it at all. But that's also why I post like almost every single day, and I'll show you the ones that I open and usually talk through my reasoning on it too. And it's kind of like right now, as far as Tesla is, I think it's like at a good point, and I would like to see some dip for some more opportunity to grab some more premium. But if that doesn't happen, I'm fine with it too. So I'm not being like overly aggressive with it. I think we're at a fair price right now, and it's going to continue to drift up over the next several years. For the red green, it shows red if it's down on the day. I don't think I was down on the day. That's why your ones that are up overall are showing red for the day. Oh, but I think we're like, those are mostly Tesla spreads, and isn't Tesla actually up for the day? I should have been up on most of those. Yeah, there's no way, no, there was barely even a point. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm colorblind anyways. I think we're going up for some weird reason. Looking at Apple, it is still bullish, and that all the Stoch RSI are oversold on multiple time frames. Yeah, I think Apple's definitely oversold. It's got to be. Things will turn around within the next 1 or 2 weeks. September is rough. Hopefully next week. I think you're right, Kit Kat. Who's Kit Kat? Did I miss one? I did not. Oh, there's Kit Kat. Oh, you think you're right about it opening it up. Yeah. Yep. I mean, if we're trading for that term, I mean, most of us are not trying to be rich in 2 weeks. Yeah, it'd be super awesome if we are. But yeah, I think this is like a whole bunch of opportunity to grab some like leaps on Apple. Fantastic. Like, let it be down a little bit. I bought another one a couple days ago, even though it dropped further. But my idea too, I'm gonna start. I'll sell the premium against the leaps that I have, and I'm just gonna stick that in the shares as well. I love TradingView. It's free, but you can pay to add more alerts and indicators. Really? How much do you have to pay for indicators? And what kind of alerts? That's interesting. I guess I can look at it. I'm sure enough people use it. Because someone shows me, he'll send me screenshots of like the bars numbered, and he'll be like, this is a 1-2-1 pattern. This is showing a reversal, something like that. But no commissions on TradingView. You can trade Forex, their TradingView account. And a really cool feature with your Forex broker. I've never traded Forex. What's up, Jacob? You have that red, I think it's a Ninja Star thing, but pretty much can't not see it. I really do like the weekends when I rolled trading. Knocks me out of focus. Oh, I really do not like the weekends when I roll trading. Yeah, I like it, even though it sucks because the market is so exciting. I think it is good that we all get a forced emotional break every week. Like, we need it. There's sometimes and right now, because we've been so green, I think the market's been relatively good, but there's been some days where I had a losing Friday, like $20,000 down, and my whole day is like do, and then when the bell rings and I'm like, oh, thank God, I can't lose any more money today, and then there's also nothing I can do about it, like, oh, I should close this, roll this, whatever. I don't even have to think about it. I think we better have it 24-hour. Can you imagine 24-hour, how nuts that would be? Now we only need to wake up like for pre-market if we want to. We still can't usually do anything about it depending on your brokerage, but my God. I think it would be terrible. I really do not let's see. I might buy Apple calls. Hey Jason, what are some of the stocks you think are super discounted right now? Apple, yes. I mean, I only want, like, there's only two companies that I really want, which is Tesla and Palantir, and they're both doing fantastic. I still think Tesla is a great deal at this price, as far as like what's gonna be worth. But yeah, Apple definitely 100% on a discount, 100%. I didn't see what it closed at or what it did after. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. But also what I started noticing with Apple is every single time they release a phone, like during the event, it drops. I mean, not that this is all their phone drop related kind of thing, but I noticed that last time too. I noticed it with the 12, right? Because I think now we're 13. The last one was 12 or whatever. I don't know. I don't use any of the Apple products, but I remember they were like, here's the stream. Oh, maybe it was a new watch. Maybe that's what it was. But like during their presentations, literally dropping. And I feel it has a high similarity with Tesla's some of their stuff, where it's like, here's a new phone, and yep, it's just new, but it's available in these colors, and nobody, like, that's it, and has like a little bit better this and that, but it's not a major breakthrough, so it doesn't rip. So people may have been kind of running it up prior to that, expecting some major thing. And I mean, that definitely happened with Tesla, because they were kind of getting known for doing the and then there's more thing for a while, and then people got used to it not happening. But last couple Apple product releases, I've noticed that. So I think I'm gonna start taking that into account, and I might go back and look at the last one. But I do remember playing it the last event, whatever the one was, where they were like, their biggest thing was almost like it was coming out with red or purple or something like that. Boy, what other? Let me see. see if I have any other lists or anything that nothing that I think is going to, like, you're gonna grab and then it's all of a sudden gonna pop or anything like that. But I think Apple's probably a pretty good deal, even though it's like only, it's not too far down, but Apple's pretty solid. Is Google? I noticed what was my other? I don't know enough about them to recommend it, but I think Roku maybe. It's funny. Look at a 5-year chart and does not look so on discount. Or 3-year. Yeah. Just pick up 10, 20 shares, 100 shares of Google. You'll be all set. A little bit. Do you have any companies? I think you just have to have a company that you actually want too. That's one of my biggest problems is there's not other companies that I really want. How was Facebook doing? I heard oh God. I was like, what? $94? I was like, that's not right. Hasn't Facebook been on a bit of a 360? I remember picking that up like pandemic. It was under 200. Jeez. Yeah. I don't remember where I picked it up, but I think just under 200 for my long term. God, 3 something. That's nuts. And I can't remember. I remember when I was hearing about it was Walmart. Walmart's had a bit of a pullback too. But depends on what you need to stick on your account. I don't know what you're missing or what you want. Might buy Apple calls this week, like for weeklies. I think I would rather buy, if I wanted to be long them, I would either look at a long butterfly, just a straight call debit spread, and both of these with some time on them, because I know the weeklies are going to be cheap. I don't know if this week's going to bring a crazy bounce back. I mean, hopefully you could buy them and you can make your $10,000, $20,000 on them. But I would probably look at one of those two, or if you can afford it, just buy leaps on them. Those pre-market, post-market prices is what I have to ignore. Make do things that I need to wait. Yeah, I think it'd be great if I could ignore the first 30 minutes, but I wake up like super early anyways. I don't know if there's like I don't know if my internal clock is set to the market or whatever, but I wake up like pretty early in the pre-market and I'll see stuff, and it's like great, I can have a reaction, but I can't do anything about it. The only thing is nice is to see whatever kind of trend is happening. Google's on discount, looking to sell calls against my stock for weekly income. Apple is my goal, so great idea. Hey, nice. If you can afford it, sell a put on it. How about Lucid's latest news beating Tesla's mileage? It doesn't matter. I seen, yeah, they're like officially have 520 miles. Mine only has 300. I never charge it above. What is it? I don't even know. I set it to percentage instead of mileage now, but I think I usually have 250, and I drive a lot. And I've only charged outside of home just a few times. So having 500 miles, you just don't drive 500 miles. You don't drive 400 miles in a day. You don't drive 300 miles in a day. You probably don't drive 200. Like that's the reality of it. People just don't drive as many miles, and it's not the issue that people think it will be at all.
That's it. I mean, at least they found somewhere for them to beat them in, right? I guess. We hear caught you live. What's up, Forrest Whitaker's crooked eye? What did I trade when I first started? So my first, I couldn't tell you what my very first options were, but I can tell you like kind of a few of them. So I started when pandemic. So it was calls, or it was, excuse me, puts on the SPY, on Carnival Cruise Lines, on what's the other one? Norwegian Cruise Lines, American Airlines, Boeing, and then I bought calls on TLT, UVXY, TLT's bonds, and UVXY. And that's where I had my huge jump from $500 to $50,000. That was my 10,000% play in a few days or whatever it was, or weeks. And then after that, I started getting more and more safe, and then taking a lot of that profit. Now I like daily, I take some of the profit that I make on my put credit spreads and I stick them into just the S&P and the Qs and Tesla stock, because I just want to build up that underlying. So I'm building up the actual equity while still using the options to make the income. But it took me a little while to find the option, like the strategy that worked for me, that I really liked. After that initial bump up, when I barely knew what I was doing, got just hands down stupid lucky, that it all kind of panned out like that. And then I just traded completely sideways for like 2 months. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I would buy some out of the money calls, out of the money puts. I would win some, lose some. But I wasn't getting anywhere consistently compared to where I am now over like the past few months. It's pretty consistent. I mean, it's in the trough, but where did I put that? Now it looks weird. It looks weird because I added some crypto here. But anyways, but even though we have these ups and downs, it's still heading in the right direction. But that's where I found my comfort, though. Starbucks is beaten down too. I would not mind having some Starbucks. You know what? Starbucks is something that I use, and I love. If I don't want to, I want to own stuff that I own. Ooh, damn! Why are they beaten down? What's the news on them? That looks like a good deal. That's a good call out. Because China exposure? Oh my god, yeah. I would rather have Starbucks as China exposure any day than Alibaba. Largest percentage decrease since January 2021. Starbucks. Wow. That's crazy. I'm glad I didn't hold my leaps on them. I had $100 leaps on them that I sold. Holy crap. That looks like a bargain. I'll take Starbucks. I use Starbucks. I think my girlfriend buys Starbucks every day, even though she's not supposed to. Too many caramel frappuccinos she buys, like the size of herself. They're giant. I would hate to drive over 500 miles a day. Ew. Like, for real, dude. Like, break it down. 500 miles? Dude, that's 10 hours of driving. Yeah, unless you're on vacation, driving across country. And now, I don't know if airlines used to be super expensive or what, or why you would even drive now. Now it's like plane tickets. If I want to go, I live in Seattle down to California, it's like a couple $100 or something like that round trip. Hell no, I'm not driving. The farthest I'll drive is like over to Idaho or something like that. And that's the only time I charge outside the house, and that's with just a couple hundred miles range. Like my me not even charging up my battery more than 250, and once in a while I'll forget to do it overnight, and I drive a lot for my work. Like I've had my car for 1 year and have over 30,000 miles on it, to put it in perspective. So I will have a 3-year-old car with 100,000 miles on it, a 6-year-old car with 200,000 miles on it if I keep doing like I'm doing. I'll forget to charge overnight and I'll still be fine. So super cool they have 520 miles range, but it's kind of like the swappable battery pack thing. I just don't see it as like, oh my gosh, they need to catch up. And if they needed to catch up, they'd just stick some more batteries in it. Let's see, where are we at? I watched Logan's YouTube, and he has an episode with you in it, and you guys talked about how you turned 500 into 285K. How did you do it? Oh yeah, and I guess I just answered you below. Yep, that's exactly how I did it. Puts during the pandemic, which we all took advantage of, and yep, put credit spread since then. Thoughts on just trading earnings? Do it if you want to do, like, there's guys, if you want to go do that, look up watch Tastyworks. There's a guy who just does it. Like, he was like one of those rising star guys. I think he was an engineer. He's retired. He has certain criteria, and that's all he does. He just trades earnings. As long as it meets his criteria, he just sets it and forgets it. I think you can do anything you want. You could just trade earnings. You literally could do anything you want. You just have to dedicate the time to it. Like, it's like learning another language. You can do it. You can be proficient at it, but you got to put in the work. Forex is open every day except Saturday, so you can get your fix on it if you hate the weekends. There you go. You can still almost get in on Saturday because it's international when they open across seas. Nice. Yeah, that'd be too much for me. It's like, I don't know if you just trade it like technically, but like for me, it's enough to just try to pay attention to the company. Like Starbucks, I should know that Starbucks dropped that much. I know I heard it, but I didn't realize that was such a bargain. But I also have a normal job too, so that's just too much, though. Too much for me, anyways. Starbucks put 127. Oh, did you buy a 127 put? Or are you selling one? What are you doing with it? The most nerve-wracking stock is Beyond and SoFi. What is Beyond doing? I have that in my long-term, too. And I have it in my freezer. It's nice having the long term that I just literally, I put $2,000 in a month, I buy what I buy, and that's it. I don't think I'm really up very much though, like over the past few months, but they're just all long-term holdings. Oh, that's it's actually interesting chart. They've been really in a range. A couple years now. Looks like a good time to pick it up though. We're kind of hitting that support level, or we've hit the support level. Beyond looks good, and I think they make an excellent product, and I think they're used, and I don't think they're going anywhere. And one day, once they've fulfilled all their like whatever they want to get into, fake chicken, fake pork, whatever, they'll pay dividends. Everything's corrupt and screwed up now. Can't go nowhere if you live in a blue state. Dude, it is. Oh, God. Aussie's PM says don't even talk to your neighbors. Oh. Yeah. Aren't they? They're like pretty crazy. Didn't they go? What was that? I was watching something. I don't know why I get so much Australian shows or news or whatever. But yeah, they're pretty hardcore lockdown. I want it all: socks, t-shirt, and drawers. I might learn it. Forex, give me the loot. Do it. Unexpected sell-off coming soon in tech. I'm holding cash on standby. I'm holding just a little bit. That'd be super cool though. Like, let's see another dip. I think it'd be fantastic. But why are you the only one expecting it? PayPal? I don't know if I want to own. I should own PayPal since what is their PAPL? They're up so much. I actually don't follow them enough to know if they'll keep going or not. That is such a huge gain. I use PayPal. The only thing is, like, a lot of the companies that I own, I want to use it kind of, or I buy them based on my experience. Like, what are the things that I use? Like, I use Netflix, I use Google, I use whatever. I use Tesla. I don't use PayPal so much anymore. I used to use it way more. No, I pay my VA through it, but I think I used to use it more for actually purchasing stuff. So I don't know what the whole thing is, but I use Beyond Meat like 100 times more than I did 2 years ago. Alex Jones really really get on that Aussie Prime Minister. LWM under 217. LWM. IWM. No. Really? You think so? Do you pay bills through Robinhood? I have a debit card but never used the bank. No. I don't. I just like withdraw money from it. I just take it out and stick it in my account. Just like the cash. All my bills are, let's see, I think everything just either comes out of, like, my big ones come out of my account, and then I have a what is it, I was gonna look at it, but I have a Citibank, like, double, you get 2% back on everything. All my bills come out of that, just so I get 2% back. Apple Pay is used more than PayPal now. I believe it. I use, like, for paying at the store and stuff, I use my Samsung Pay. I barely even use my cards. This is like, let me see. This is my, actually I have my Robinhood account. This is my, I got my Robinhood right here. That's I got that one. I got my Robinhood. I got an Apple one. What else do we have? These are all cards that I actually don't use. A couple membership cards. Inside track, gambling cards. Player's choice cards. What else do I have? You know, I have a Sephora card too. American Expresses. My M1. They like all the brokerages now, they have it. Like, I have my M1 card. My Ally Bank. I don't know. I've been using Ally Bank for a while. I have them. Oh, actually, two of my favorite looking cards is my. I think this is clean. I have a Sephora card. It actually looks pretty good. And then, of course, my Amazon card, but it's like kind of metalish. I think the Sephora one's super clean. But I have like
Sephora and Target cards and stuff because I have an Amazon business, and I use that so I can get a percentage back on and special deals for Sephora purchases. And of course Amazon, because everybody should have an Amazon card because you get 5% off unless you don't use Amazon and you're like the 1% of persons.
Joe Biden said the IRS, Janet Yellen pressed lawmakers to push tax compliance agenda. Banks to report deposits. I saw that. I did hear that on, what was that, Thursday or Friday? Oh well. I don't mind paying my taxes. I don't mind paying them. I don't like them, but yeah. I don't know what that's really going to do. I don't know. That's like in the grander scheme of things what it's going to do. I do remember when the world used to hate rats and snitches. Now we love them. I don't know that we still love them. Who are we loving? Australia's something crazy though. Still never been there. It'll be on my list as soon as the world opens back up. Hopefully next year. I guess my next trip just might be to somewhere actually open, like Colombia or DR or something like that, somewhere close. But I've got, oh crap, I think a 2 or 2:30. Yeah, I've got a 2:30 appointment that I have to get to. You guys have anything else we need to talk about? Too many snakes in New Zealand and Australia for me. And dingoes, right? Yeah. And big ass spiders and all kinds of scary stuff. Even though I think we have big snakes like in, where was it? I think I met someone that worked in Tennessee, and he's a plumber, and he was telling me when he goes underneath the house, he like has to almost like jump in because they'll hide like right above the ledge and they'll get you when you try to cruise in. There's some big stuff. You know what's really huge? When I was in Vietnam, the rats. They have rats like not small cats, big cat sized rats. I'm fine with some snakes as long as they're not like poisonous or trying to kill me. I'm dead. Like if I see one and I know it's poisonous or something, it scares the crap out of me. Here at movie theaters, are movie theaters open? I bought. It's so funny. I got all these Costco tickets back from pre-pandemic. Like you buy them at Costco so you can go to the theaters, watch your 3D movies and crap. God, I hope they don't expire. 2000, I already had them for a while. 2018. Dang. I just keep that with all my credit cards. Ever seen the Titan boa the size of a building? Hell no. I've seen Diamondbacks. That's the only one I've seen up close. That was scary. I've never been to a rainforest either. But in Vietnam, I saw just giant rats, and then you just saw like lizards randomly on things. Like you just see like the buildings, and they'll have their super bright signs, and they'll just like be posted on there. Anaconda, man. I don't want to come across any of those. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get going. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. I'm not going to try to run into any snakes, but I do have to go make this appointment. And hopefully we'll have a pretty interesting Monday. But thanks for those call outs, man. Thanks for the call outs. Starbucks is one that I want. I think another one that I want to hold. I was really just trying to think of something. So appreciate that. Love you guys. And next week, hopefully we're not too volatile and we can all make a lot of money. All right, guys.